Away from the pandemic, new data from the World Poverty Clock reveals India has surpassed Nigeria as a nation with the highest number of extremely poor people. According to the new data, India now has 83 million people living below the UN estimated poverty line in 2022. For Nigeria, over 70 million people currently live in extreme poverty, representing 33% of the country's population. According to the latest data from the World Poverty Clock, India has now surpassed Nigeria as the nation with the highest number of extremely poor people. In 2018, Nigeria surpassed India as the world's poverty capital with around 87 million people living in extreme poverty compared with India's 73 million. But to the WPC, the latest statistics of the Nigerians living in extreme poverty was pegged at over 70 million, representing 33% of the population. Let's cross over live to Virginia for more analyses as Chairman Shine Bridge Global Incorporated, Dr. Tony Bello, who is joining me via Zoom. Thank you so much for joining us on World Now. Just like we said, new data from WPC revealed that India has now surpassed Nigeria. And so we are not looking at the highest number of extremely poor people, but still has about 33% of its people living in extreme poverty. Help us understand this reality. Does this indicate a sign of progress to Nigeria?
Yeah, in relative terms, this is good news for Nigeria. However, in absolute terms, it is still a bad news. We still have quite a bit of work to do to make sure that we are not with this dubious distinction of high rate of poverty in our country.
Right. So the real-time poverty data too showed that 53% of the Nigerians currently living below the UN estimated poverty line are residents in the rural areas, which means 47% are in the urban areas. Was there any role COVID-19 pandemic played in all of these?
Yeah, possibly. Possibly, I think in March or so of 2020, the world literally came to a halt, including Nigeria. And you will recall when the airways and seaways were closed and people were basically at the mercy of government. We thank God for the resistance that we as a people group had in Nigeria in terms of death rates and what have you. But the disruption that we suffered in the food supply chain is now part of the impact we are seeing today. The future is now looking very good.
Right. Very quickly, because of our time, the statistics also, indicated that males were slightly more affected by extreme poverty in Nigeria than their female counterpart, with the figure standing at around 35 million for males and 35 million for males and 34 million for females. We initially thought males were richer than the female counterpart. What do you think is needed to really address the extreme poverty in Nigeria?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite get the question about, was this a gender question? I wasn't quite sure.
Absolutely. The essence of it is to tell us what is needed to address the extreme poverty rate in Nigeria.
Okay. Well, I think a number of things, but let's start with leadership. I think as we look at the private sector, the public sector, the development partners, we all have a role to play. But most is about the governance structure, having good governance, having the right leadership, and having the kind of leadership where we can be thinking 20, 30, 40 years ahead while we are managing the short term. And I know the presidential politics is heating up in Nigeria. And we as a country, we have to be very watchful this time around that we install leadership that understands global markets, global trade and policies, and can respond to things such as the COVID-19 as we saw with the Russia invasion of Ukraine. we really need to be most careful in how we vote for who the political leaders of our country will be.
Absolutely. Your concern is about the 2023 elections, where we should be able to install the proper person who will definitely take Nigeria out of poverty. That's your submission. Anyway, Dr. Tony Bello, Chairman, Shinebridge Global Incorporated, thank you so much for your insight.
Thank you for having me.